Hello and welcome. My name is Roberto Lara. I'm the Director of Core Teams here at Inside Real Estate and very excited to take you through a tour of the Core Team add-on. We're going to cover all the different elements that are included in this very powerful add-on that's going to give you a lot of control in the administrative department in terms of managing your team and empowering your team to be successful with KV Core. So let's jump right on in. KV Core, if you haven't gotten familiar with it, is a very, very powerful platform that's going to allow you to feed leads, aggregate leads, generate leads, track leads, and even set the whole stage for how leads are managed within this powerful platform that includes a full CRM, website, all of the MLS listings. We're going to dive right on in. So with the team add-on, the centerpiece is team independence. Really getting the Core Team add-on is like buying KV Core directly from my sales team, but for a tiny fraction of the cost. So you're paying, 30% of what you would normally pay for a system with multiple users involved. The centerpiece of which is the team website. So the team website, we're going to put it on a .com or .net or .team or .group. I mean, there's a bunch of dot endings you can choose right now, but the point is that it's going to be your domain name. You will own the domain name. In fact, you need to purchase that from whatever registrar you prefer. And my Go Live team is going to go ahead and work with you on getting approval on your MLS board or boards as we merge those feeds into this team level website. This is where your team-owned leads are going to shop. And we'll talk about ownership here in just a little bit. The thing that's important to know about the team website is that the branding and design work done to the team website can be inherited down to the individual agents, which is really cool. The agents will still have their personal websites provided to them by the brokerage. Those don't go away. And the other option you have with the team site is to have it designed on WordPress. Now, this will require an additional add-on, which is the WordPress plugin. But the team site could be a WordPress site, completely, differentiating your team in terms of design options off the KV Core platform, but speaking directly to the KV Core platform as well. So that's an option. Next is team lead generation. So all of the tools you may be familiar with, the squeeze pages, the landing pages, those still exist, but they're now generating leads that are going to be team owned. Your agents, on the other hand, are able to generate leads that are agent owned. And in doing so, they own and keep those leads, but that's from their extracurricular efforts. All of the lead sources that are aggregated from third-party services like Zillow and Realtor.com and ZBuyer, and there's a whole galaxy of lead services that you can work with, and they can all aggregate or enter into KV Core very easily, and we'll help you understand how to make that happen without too much effort. It's pretty straightforward. You can also, like I say, you can create your squeeze pages, your landing pages. There's a lot of ways to get leads into KV Core. I like to say that KV Core is lead source agnostic. It doesn't matter where the leads come from. They can get into KV Core very easily, and we'll work with you on making sure that happens. Next up is lead routing. So we have a very robust lead distribution system that can be controlled by you, the team admin, in terms of setting up leads to distribute to your agents via round robin. There's also a blast option, but you get to choose these rules and create them around what price point the lead is shopping at, what location, what source is the lead coming from. Make sure that the leads that are shopping the higher prices are going to either yourself or your agents focused on luxury. That kind of thing can be done. Or if you have an agent who focuses on a neighborhood or a zip code, you can make sure those leads go to them. There's a lot of control that you're going to have here. Now we have a brand new feature called Pawns. And I've got a whole separate video on Pawns, but what it's going to really do is allow you to take that whole backlog of leads and rather than divvy it up and assign it out to the agents, put it into one group where multiple agents have access to claim and work that database of leads. It's a great way to keep more than one set of eyes on that database set and get your agents working those leads. The next item is that you can put really robust agent accountability metrics in place. Now, these metrics, they are totally automatic. You just set the minimum percentage completed calls and tasks that they're assigned by the team. You set how often you want the agents logging into KV Core at a minimum. And if an agent falls short of your expectations, they'll be taken out of lead rotation automatically. Both yourself and they will both get an email about it. You can put them right back in if need be, or you can leave them out. It's temporary. All the agents who are pushed out automatically will be brought back in on the 1st of the next month. You can also have agents that are not affected by your accountability metrics, yourself included. So next, we're going to talk about smart campaigns. Now, this really is the kind of control center of when a lead enters the system, it gets assigned to one of your team members. What do you want them to be doing with that lead? Well, you want to standardize these practices, and that's what team scoped campaigns allow you to do. You can have actions that trigger a call between the agent and the lead, or you can add that lead as a call to the agent's daily dials. You can have a text message go out, emails go out, scheduled tasks that you define. We've already got campaigns written out for you. You don't have to worry too much about that, but you can certainly customize those to your liking. And next is the Team Smart Number. Now, this is one of the really central pieces of the system as well, is a local area code number that is the primary number of all of the members of the team. So the way a smart number works is when it receives a phone call, the first thing it's going to do is check the entire scope of the team's collective database. If it finds a match, it's going to route the call directly to the assigned agent. If it does not find a matching record, it's going to create a brand new lead for the team from that phone number that just called in. So it's another way to generate leads. They call the number on your sign, they're instantly in your KV Core system. And you also have settings on how you want those unknown callers to be handled and distributed to the team members. We also have this wonderful feature called text to capture. It allows you to set up keywords that, if texted to the team smart number, will capture the phone number in question, but can also send them back immediately a text with some kind of value. Could be a squeeze page with a link to all the swimming pool homes in the county or something like that. Great way to combo some of these tools into powerful calls to action in your on and offline marketing campaigns. And then next up is critical to business analytics at the team level are going to let you understand, how is your team performing, both in aggregate and at the individual agent level. And that does come in combination with those agent accountability settings, but we'll look at team pipeline tracking, the source performance. You're paying for different lead sources. How do we know with data behind, which of those services are performing best, worst, which ones we want to keep or let go? Show you how to do that. And lastly is looking at statistics that will help the agents improve, knowing where they can improve. All of this is inside KV Core, and the team system gives you all of this data. So, we'll talk about how leads are going to flow into KV Core and how KV Core is going to route those leads to your team members instantly, dynamically, and to your specifications. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in to the KV Core platform. So here, in essence, we've got just a straightforward KV Core platform. You'll notice above my name, I'm an admin. And this is what's going to happen when you order the Core Team add-on is you immediately become an admin. One of the cool things is you can give these administrative rights to any other team members that need to have them. So it's not just stuck with one person being the admin on a team. Theoretically, and in some cases, giving everybody administrative rights, it's possible. It can be useful. It really depends on your business model. Generally not advised, though. Generally, you want to keep the administrative rights to just those few who are, the trusted few on the team. Everybody else, they're going to be assigned leads. They're going to be working those leads, and we'll get into lead ownership once we kind of get into the CRM piece. Here at the dashboard, the front page of KV Core, we're going to look at this menu right here. You'll notice that you're going to have a team selection This is kind of showing you all of the activity across all of your team leads assigned out across your agents, the text messages they receive, the new leads they receive, the properties those leads view, and you can distill by any of these action types or anything listed here. You can also see any individual agent's dashboard in question and see what they're saying, including your own. Sometimes you need to go and look at what your business is up to and see what all your leads are doing. So from here, we're going to go ahead and jump into lead routing, which is really where I like to get started because it is such a powerful part of KV Core. At the team level, lead routing really needs to be powerful. It's a rule-based lead routing system. You can move rules up and down because you want your most specific rules to be across the top and your more broad-based rules towards the bottom. So let's talk about some different rule options here. Well, rules can be based on the type of lead that we're referring to. They can be based on what source the lead came from. They can be based on what hashtags the leads include. And if we talk about buyers, we can even get deeper into what property type they're interested in, what area or areas they're shopping in. You can stack zip codes or towns right here. And if you're working in more than one MLS, you can also create rules based on each MLS, which in a team scenario can be very important because agents can be, distributed geographically. And then there's also price range. So one of the added benefits I've not yet mentioned about getting the Core Team add-on is that you are now empowered to give any lender you work with a login to KV Core. It's a very specific kind of login intended for that lender, and you create it off in the lender section. Well, let's just say that I've gone ahead and given my lender, Brad, a login. Well, he shows up on my drop-down menu here. That allows me to assign leads to him, where he'll be able to see those leads in detail, the whole timeline, in conjunction, in collaboration with whichever agent gets assigned to this lead. So let's say that Brad offered to pay for some Realtor.com leads for me. I mean, I would take him up on that. And so I would want to create some rules that ensured that I was giving Brad access and instant notification anytime a Realtor.com lead was generated. But I might want to segment these Realtor.com leads into some different groups that I may deliver differently. For example, I may want to create an expensive rule where I'm going to say, all right, if the lead came from Realtor.com, I'll choose that as my source. And if the price that they're shopping at is, I'm just going to say 900,000 up to, now we'll make it like 100 trillion. It's just some obscenely high number, whatever you like. If it falls within that range, so the property that they're asking about is in this range, they're going to go directly to, I'll be John here. They'll go to me. That'll be my Realtor.com expensive rule. And I'm going to add that rule. Once I've added that rule, I probably need to come up with some other specific Realtor.com rules to cover every possible kind, because I only want to give those sourced leads to Brad and not my other source leads. I may have other lenders that are working with me and they're getting those leads instead. So what I'll do next is I'll just make a catch-all rule, and we'll talk about all the different ways we can deliver these leads directly to the agents. So I'm going to make this a catch-all rule. I'm going to get rid of this price point, but I'm going to keep the check for the source. So all I'm looking to see is, did this next lead come from Realtor.com? If yes, give it to John or give it to Brett or assign it to Kelly. And I shouldn't say give, I should say assign, because that's really what's happening here is the lead is getting assigned to the agent. They don't own the lead, and I'll explain that in just a bit. So here's John, Brett, Kelly, David, Doug, and Ernest. If I left this rule as is, as a round robin rule, each of these agents would get a lead in turn in perfect distribution and perfect rotation, going from top and then back, to bottom, then back to the top again. So what I'm going to be able to set here are, for example, weights, where you'll notice that everybody gets nearly a perfect distribution percentage. If I say, hey, John, you're getting those high-end leads, I'm going to give you 5%. The system automatically distributes the difference to all of the other agents. If, let's say, David here is kind of new and I want to give him just 10%, it just took that difference and gave it to the other agents that I've not yet edited. So this still adds up to 100, and it always will. The system will always be correcting for these percentages in its, in its delivery of the leads to the agents. So if I leave it as is without requiring acceptance, it's just going to assign the moment it has the lead in hand. It does some quick math and it figures out who to assign it to. And then you also control how the agent is alerted to the fact that there's a new lead assigned to them by phone, by text, and by email. Now, this setting here, I'm a huge proponent of. It's requiring lead acceptance. If you require it, it's going to show you some additional settings. The first one here is the interval. This is where we're going to set kind of a short, maybe a few minutes, 1, 2, 3 minutes perhaps, and then we're going to set a long countdown where if no one claims it within this timeout counter, you're going to have a default recipient on deck to be assigned the lead. So we'll make it John Robinson there. So here's what's going to happen. Lead comes in, matches this rule. It's going to trigger a phone call and a text message and an email to who's ever first in line for the next lead. Let's just say that that's Brett. The phone call's coming from the team's smart number. When the agents see a call to their cell phone from the team smart number, they better know to answer that call. In this case, it's going to ask Brett to press 1 to claim the lead. That's the action here. Text message, he's going to get a text. He's going to click a link in that text to claim the lead. Lastly, the email, if you have this activated, he could click a link in that email. And you can have any 1, 2, or 3 of these activated. Just one at a minimum needs to be on. That's going to be how agents are alerted. Or you can do all 3, and that's going to, kind of blow up their whole phone. They'll be getting multiple alerts all at once, and they can take any one of those actions. Now, should Brett not take the action within 3 minutes, his turn's not up, but the system is immediately going to say, okay, who would be up next? It would be Kelly. So Kelly's now going to get these communications, and for minutes 4, 5, and 6, Brett or Kelly could claim that lead. Now, again, if neither do, it's additive. It's going to go ahead and bring in Doug. So for minutes 7, 8, and 9, Brett, Kelly, or Doug could take any of the actions. First one to do is assign the lead. The clock would stop, the assignment would be made, and all the next steps would trigger off. So if none of the agents manage to take one of these claim actions, the lead simply assigns to John Robinson. And the reason why I really promote this particular setting for group distribution is the fact that you, the team admin, have better control over this distribution. And you can also achieve speed to lead. You can put a very short, let's say 1-minute interval that it uses to go through from agent to agent to agent. And also the fact that by taking the claim action, the agent in question is basically saying, hey, I'm ready to take this lead and work with it right now. They're not sitting in a meeting or sitting in church or doing something that has their full attention that they can't, stop doing. And the system is going to always try to correct for these percentages. So if Kelly gets behind, it's going to give her first dibs on the next lead, trying to fulfill her percentage. The other option that you have is the blast, and it certainly has use cases. But in big group distribution, the challenge is that these agents are going to be on different carriers with different hardware. Sometimes texts don't arrive at the same time, and sometimes it happens over and over again that an agent has kind of a head start, undeserved, to claim the leads coming into the system. So I'm not a huge advocate for blast. And there is one other option that you have, and that's the pond. You can send leads directly to the pond. And we've got a separate video that really explains ponds very well, but just know that you can drop a lead into the pond, and that allows multiple agents to see that lead. So from here, we're going to get out of lead routing, but I just want to emphasize that you understand that you can create as many rules as you need. And we're going to assist you in crafting these rules. I've not yet mentioned them, but you will be assigned to a team account manager. And part of their job is to make sure that you understand how these lead routing rules work. And so next up is the Smart CRM. Now, I've already got that open here in a tab. I'm going to go ahead and search for my name. I'm a fake lead in the system that I'm looking at here. And I want to do that so I can demonstrate a specific function here in the Smart CRM. Now, the thing about the team system is that everybody's logging in to their same KV Core logins provided by the brokerage. You're not getting separate logins for the team and separate logins for the agents. The agents log in and they can work their own leads in the CRM, like this lead here. Lead is owned by Brett K and is assigned to Brett K. And the limitation of agent-owned leads is that they have to be assigned to the agent who owns them, which means that an agent can't easily empower somebody else to work their lead for them. And that's hence part of the reason for this team add-on. Now, on the other hand, leads that come in through all of the team sourced channels, and like I said, all of your lead services can flow into KV Core, those will come in as team owned. Those will get assigned to the agents. This lead is assigned to John Robinson. John cannot delete this lead. He cannot export this lead's data. He cannot transfer this lead to anybody but a fellow team member. It has to stay within the boundaries of the team. And he cannot hide this lead. Agents do have the option to have privacy on their personal leads. So Brett could hide this from the team if he so chose. John could not hide this lead. And if a team admin wished, they could reassign it away from John. But since it is assigned to John, all the communications are going out in his name to the lead, to this lead. And if they reply by email, by text, whatever, it's going back to John. John is the assigned agent, just like any other lead that you're currently working in KV Core right now. That being said, as an admin, you now have all this data that you have to navigate. So using the filters up here are very important for navigating that data. So let's look at how we do that. These filters, they provide you a ton of different elements you can choose to create a filter with, like lead details, or whether they have a phone number or not, whether they're subscribed, unsubscribed, birthday, no birthday, behaviors, how have they responded, and then also property interest. But let's use the new, very important element here, which is ownership. So I'm going to go up here to assigned users, and I'm going to say, I'd like to see a filter that shows me every single one of my team's leads that are currently under contract and owned by the team entity that owns the leads. But of course, I own the team, therefore I own the team leads. By giving them to this team entity, it allows me to distribute them to the team members without actually giving away ownership like Brett would here if he tried transferring this lead to somebody else. He would be giving that lead away. Agent-owned leads, if transferred, are given away. In essence, it goes to their CRM and it would leave Brett's. Not so with team ownership. They stay team owned and they have to stay within the team. So what I would do is I would go down to the bottom here and I would save this filter, and then I would give it a useful descriptive name like team under contract. Then I would save. Initially, this filter would live right here on this list. I can click this little gear button, check off any of the filters I've created, hit save, and just like that, my buttons are updated. So filters are both useful for kind of running reports here in the CRM and jumping straight to views that are useful. You could have like my contact, my sphere, my this, my that, and then team this, team that, and even buttons reserved specifically for agents, and even more specifically than just assigned to that agent. But filters are also your most precise audience creation tool in KV Core. It allows you to create lists of people that you may want to mass text or mass email, which you're able to do. And now when you mass text, they're going to see the team smart number as the number delivering that text, which is exactly what you want. You always want them to be seeing the team smart number. So that's the CRM in a nutshell with considerations for administrative rights. I'm going to fly right through the listing section here, and that's because there's really only one important thing to mention here, maybe a couple. One is that you'll have a brand new filter for team listings. So you'll be able to filter by all the listings listed by members of the team. The other thing is property boosts. You can talk to your account manager about our enterprise property boost that allows your team's listings to just be boosted the moment that they hit the market with no additional action from you. And that can keep a lot of leads flowing into the system. Now, you also have the option to go ahead and just keep boosting properties one by one, but by selecting your team domain name as the website that they boost through, turning those leads into team-owned leads so that you can distribute them out to the team. Next up is the marketing section, and this is where we really get into the meat and potatoes of what KV Core can do. Smart campaigns are really the heart of that. Now, you may have already dabbled in smart campaigns, maybe you've touched some up, maybe you haven't, but now you're definitely going to want to review the campaigns in question. So I'm going to go ahead and do a filter for some of our default campaigns we include, because we've got like 24, 25 built-in campaigns. Let's take a look at one that's intended for new leads. So for example, this campaign here is a default new lead buyer campaign. It's designed for buyers that enter the system and are in the new lead status. So if they meet these two elements and this is activated, it's going to go ahead and deploy this campaign in the name of your assigned agent. Let's take a closer look at what this campaign does. Here we can see on a timeline things that happen immediately, things that happen minutes later, things that happen days later. I mean, this can go out to day 1000 and beyond if you want it to. You can also have it stop short. It could do a status change on day 15 that moves it out of the new status and into the prospect status, thus stopping this campaign and letting whatever campaign and that other status take over. You can add hashtags. You can trigger phone calls, both scheduled or automatic, to try to connect your agent to that lead. You can trigger tasks that you define for your agents to complete with relation to that lead and that status that that lead is in. You can have text messages go out from the agent assigned, and same with emails, both basic and advanced emails. So from here, for example, we can look at this call action. Some of these actions have more than one option. This call action right now, it's scheduled to be a task reminder, meaning that it's going to go on the list of calls that your agent's going to need to make the next day. If, on the other hand, I wanted the system to, at this moment in time, when this campaign is running, call the assigned agent and try to connect them to the lead, I can do that. This action could be a call me action. Now imagine I'm in the field, my phone rings, and I notice it's a Team Smart number calling me, so I know I need to answer it. Answering it, it says, "Hey Roberto, you've got to lead Julie. She's looking in, Del Mar, California for a condo under 600,000. Good luck, but maybe I'll find her one." And press 1 to dial out. I need to press 1 and at the very least leave a voicemail. If I don't leave a voicemail or I don't call the lead, the system's going to call me again later. In fact, you can have the system call your agent up to 9 times, stopping once they have left a voicemail, or better yet, had a full conversation with the lead, or if they log that they've completed that call. So in any case, this is a great way to really take the pressure off the agent to dial a phone and just let the phone dial the agent and connect them to the lead. Meanwhile, the campaign keeps on going. So what you would do is I would make sure that this campaign was exactly how I wanted my agents to follow up with new buyer leads. And then I would clone this campaign, scope it to the team, and then I would lock it so my agents cannot edit it. But I'm basically setting up the logic that triggers this campaign to any lead that's team owned. So I'm not giving my agents the choice on what they want to do with the leads that I'm assigning to them. They're following the game plan that I, the team leader, am setting. So it's a very powerful element of KV Core and can control the whole, life cycle of that lead across the journey that they take with you and your team. So that's Smart Campaigns kind of in a nutshell. Definitely something we've got other webinars you can review to go deeper on. Next, I'm going to look at one of my other favorite tools, which is the scheduled mass email tool. Now, I bring up this one because this is a place where you can send out an email on behalf of your team. You would change the scope to the team. Then you would choose your audience. I showed you how to make a saved filter. That's the most precise audience you can create. They'll all be listed here. You can also use a hashtag group, or you can go with a status group. We can go with the entire sphere of influence, or everybody under contract, or all of my current the closed deals we've done. We can stack these on top of each other to form our audience. Then, oops, I meant to choose the team. So I've got the team. Now, this is one place where if your agents have chosen to choose privacy of their leads, you can still reach out to those private leads by flipping the switch here. But this audience you've chosen would otherwise just be team-owned leads. and the communication is coming from the assigned agent. The email you're sending is coming from your assigned agent. So then what we can do is we can set our date and time of when we want this email to go out. You know, it's sometimes good to just do bright and early in the morning, so it's the first thing in their inbox. And then you might have set up some templates, which you do over in the other section where I was in the Smart Campaigns, because you can set up templates that already have your team's colors and logos already dialed in. I'm going to do one from scratch though, and I'm going to do it on the advanced editor. This is the basic editor. If the look that you're going for with this email is like it was handwritten, use the basic editor. If you're going for something fancier, use the advanced editor. This is more like having kind of MailChimp built right into KV Core, but it's even better because we've got the IDX data at our fingertips. So first, you're kind of going to lay out the email, kind of blocking it off, almost like we're in I don't know, a newspaper class in high school, right? You got to kind of lay out the page. How do you want it to roll out? So I'm going to put some blocks here. I'm going to then fill in my content. I'll throw an image there. I'll put my social media links across the bottom. Maybe I say, you know what? We don't have a LinkedIn page, or we don't have a Twitter account. I'll delete that one. But what we do have is a YouTube channel, and we'll put that there. And then we'll say, all right, we're going to throw a video here. And this just needs to be on YouTube or Vimeo. We can put some text over here. We can say, you know, dear, and then merge tags are important to understand. If you've used a service that you do mass emails with, you know, merge tags allow you to get very specific, maybe name the lead by their first name. And then I can even sign off with the signature of my agent. So there's a bunch of powerful ones you can use there. And then we're going to go ahead and change the, you know, the width of this message. We're going to go ahead and change the color. You can have your colors already preset. You can drag this around, get your colors just right. Maybe I really like this deep blue, but now I can't read this text. So let's change our text color and make it pop off the blue with a light white there. And, you know, we can just drag and drop a picture there, put in the video, but then here, we're going to use dynamic content. Drop one there, drop one there. This one, I'm going to make this a triple listing collage. This one, I'm going to make that either a schedule a showing button or maybe just a view the listing button. And then we just need to put in our MLS number, start typing it, find it. Here's my, I'll do this Albion Street in Denver. And so this property is what's going to be referenced here and here. Then I'm able to preview this both in kind of what it's going to look like on a desktop and also mobile device, send myself a test. And once I'm comfortable, we'll go ahead and schedule that for the time and date that we plugged in up above. Really powerful tool. You can schedule these messages way in advance, and it's great, especially like I said, if you create your own templates for the team that are branded, that, you know, all you gotta do is pull that up and fill in the blanks. These messages can also be implanted into your Smart Campaigns if you want to kind of intersperse some branded communications alongside maybe communications that look more handwritten by the assigned agent. So a lot of stuff that KV Core has. We're also going to go ahead and go right down into the lead engine. I'm going to kind of skim over some of the stuff. The lead Dropbox, I do want to stop by and say that this is an important place. You're going to have a new set of team keys. Zapier, this is an important thing to learn about. You can click here or here to learn more. This is for more kind of custom lead services. Zillow, if you use Zillow, has its own integration. But for services like Realtor.com, Homes.com, Redfin, ZBuyer, these services that send you your lead by email, this Dropbox email is what it's called. You just click and copy it. Recognizes lead services like Realtor.com. So the way you use it is you would go put this email address in your the setting box of where you want leads emailed to from, let's say, you know, Realtor.com. And then as that lead is sent through this email, it still shows up in your inbox, but our software is reading that email, parsing it, and recognizing, hey, this is a Realtor.com lead, so it knows which bits of information to grab, pull into KV Core, and since this would be a team lead, go straight into the lead routing rules, and then determine who to assign to, and the rest of that journey. So that's that. Now, again, in the lead engine is the Squeeze Page Builder. I'm going to leave the landing page builder aside. The main thing I want to tell you about both of these items is that from now on, you're building these on your Teams domain. You're going to choose the .com that is your teams.com. You don't really want to do this on your agents.com because that's their web address. That's going to generate agent-owned leads. Same with yours. You still have a personal agent level website, but you're not focused on that anymore. You're focused on the team domain and marketing that, because again, that's generating team-owned leads. So you can build squeeze pages. Now, I'm going to build a squeeze page with a very specific purpose. I'm going to build a squeeze page of all the homes in San Diego County. So we'll pick San Diego County. There it is. You got to make sure you select it. I'm going to give it a source. You know, like maybe I'm putting this link into Nextdoor. If I'm working with Nextdoor or some service and they ask me for a link, I want to give them a link that I create that I can attribute my leads to that lead source. That's one of the main important reasons for this squeeze page builder. You can tell the system where the lead came from, where you put this lead. You can tag those leads as they come into the system, and you can tag them anything that's useful, a way to kind of group them, file them, put them into audiences that are, you know, useful. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose down here in the options. I'm going to do pool homes. I'm also going to do homes that have seen a reduction in price. And while I'm here, we'll go ahead and generate these links. I'm going to generate a long version. There's also a short version. I'm going to copy the short version. I'm going to use it a couple times. Once just to show you how this works. Now notice here, I've asked it to go ahead and capture me on the second property. I could change that as well. There's a lot of settings you can change on what's contained within the link that you've generated. So if I paste this link, it's going to take us to this sample website. I know it's got the San Diego data, and it's going to take me to a map of all 34 properties in the county of San Diego that have seen a reduction. That's one of the filters I put there, and have a swimming pool. Every one of these 34 properties meet both those things. So I can click on one, and I can see all of the photos of this property. I'm not being forced to register. I can even click to see the big versions, go through, great looking home. I can scroll down, see all of the details. There's that reduction that I filtered for. It happened just yesterday, in fact. And then if I do a control F, I'm going to type in the word pool. There's my pool. The association has a pool. So there's probably a central location with a pool. So if I go on to the next listing, now, just as requested, it's dropped the lead capture because I asked it to do so on the second property. You can control that with the squeeze page settings. So I'm going to start typing in my email address. You'll notice as soon as I get to that @ symbol, it drops this box and asks me for my cell number, masquerading as a password. This does a great job at getting cell phone numbers. The lead could also click with their Facebook credentials or their Google credentials. Now I've got this squeeze page copied. I'm going to go back to my lead engine right here. And I'm going to show you one other cool tool. It's the call capture. I mentioned this earlier. This is where you can add unlimited keywords that you can then advertise that if they text them to your team smart number, they'll receive something in return. So let's start with this MLS ID. You just need, again, your MLS ID. I'll start typing one in. I'll pick, let's see, this one is on Granite Court. We'll select that. Then I'm going to use the custom code Granite, and uppercase, lowercase doesn't matter. As long as they spell it right, all that matters. So I'm going to have them text the keyword Granite on my flyer to my team smart number if they'd like to receive instantly a link to the property. And again, this is going to capture their phone number in the process as a new team-owned lead. I could even hashtag this lead with a keyword. And the thing that the smart campaigns allow is for smart campaigns to be triggered by hashtags. So I could have a hashtag that even triggers a text message, let's say an hour later, and ask them, hey, did you like the property? Would you care for a personal showing? And that can all be automated, and a whole bunch of other things too in that same campaign. So let's talk about the other kind of text to capture keyword, the one where you send them any message you like. So I created that squeeze page of all of the pool homes that have seen a reduction, and I'm going to ask them to text pool deals to my team smart number, and then I'm going to text them back a link to all of the swimming pool homes that have seen a reduction on the marketplace. Really cool. You can make powerful calls to action, put those on signs, flyers, posters, whatever you like. and give them another way to become a lead for you and your team. All right, so now we're going to go through one last section of the system, and that is the business analytics. Every one of these sections has a team level for analysis. So we've got this pipeline view. This is your top level pipeline view of all the leads in your team system, broken down into the different statuses. And then you can also see it broken down further across your respective team members. Then we can go to source performance. Now, this is where we can run a report on up to 10 different lead services at a time in comparison. You can click a custom date range. Maybe you want to look at, Q2 of 2021 or, Q4 of 2020 or whatever you like. And then you can say, all right, let's take a look at 6 months back and update whatever timeline you like. Then it's going to generate you a graphical report, which is nice, but more importantly, really is the data. How many leads did we capture within that date range? Where did they come from? And where are they now in these statuses? And with just a few other details, you can calculate things like cost per lead, cost per transaction, return on investment, and really get a feel for whether that lead service is worth continuing to invest in. So really powerful reporting tool here, and you can download that report as well. We're going to jump over to agent performance, and this is where you will be able to see how long it's been since an agent has logged into the system, how many calls that they've made, and all the new leads that they've received, how many calls that they've made, and what accountability numbers have they met. Because again, you can set automatic accountability settings that allow you to pull agents out of rotation if they don't log in as often as you'd like, or if they fall short of a moving average completion rate of the calls and tasks assigned by the team. So really powerful stuff there. We can go into more detail on another conversation. Lastly, I'm just going to show you one last thing, which is the agent success tab, where we've got these different KPIs that are going to give you an idea as to whether where can your agent improve. I like to call this the report card for the agents. And you can also see whether they've started, completed, or not started the agent success plan, and also another view of their pipeline. So this has been the Core Team add-on. I hope this was really helpful. If you'd like to learn more, or if you'd like to sign up, it's right here in the marketplace. You can go here, click on this tile, and if you'd like a one-on-one demo, if you need more information, you can click here. If you've already got one scheduled, just make sure to show up. And if you'd like to purchase the Core Team add-on, you just click right here. This will take you to the form, and you fill out that form. But it's been a lot of fun, and I hope you've learned a lot. Thanks for your time.